I'm Michael Fassbender, and these are my memories. Steve Jobs, Inglorious Basterds, 300. Hi, I'm Michael Fassbender. I'm going to share one memory from every movie I ever did. Almost. The Killer. What would come to mind would be fisting gloves, which is what I wore as sort of gloves where I wouldn't leave a fingerprint, I guess, because they were so sleek, and Fincher wanted something that would fit my hand like a glove, obviously, but really kind of where you could see the outline of my finger very clearly, and we found fisting gloves were the best for that. So I think we actually used so many that there was none left in the company that we were sourcing them from. So there could have been some unhappy fisters out there because of us. Jane Eyre. What comes to mind is a horse called Prince with an erection as I was sitting on his back. Okay, The Light Between Oceans. Alicia and I really sort of got together on this film, so it's very special, perhaps the most special movie because of that. We were in the middle of nowhere on a peninsula in New Zealand, and so there was nothing much to do other than get together, which we did, and it's obviously very close to my heart. Ah, yeah, cool. 300, one of my first films, and reminds me of a lot of exercise. I think it was the beginning of the CrossFit craze, just training and playing with swords and running around in leather Speedos in minus 50 degrees.
Our arrows will blot out the sun. Then we will fight in the shade.
Jerry was great to me on that film, Gerard Butler, because he could have said, I like that line, I want it for my character, but I was allowed to keep it, and it's always nice when the lead is got your back, and he did, for sure. Steve Jobs. This was like probably the hardest movie I've done. The challenge of just obviously playing somebody who has changed the way we all live, such an iconic figure. I really felt the pressure on this one, but I'm super proud of it. I just remember trying to figure out a way of getting out of the job early on when I was on set rehearsing. Yeah, but we're very proud of this one.
You came a half inch from putting this company out of business. Now, who do I see about that? I'm letting you keep your job. You get a pass.
The Scottish play, I'm going to say that because I'm superstitious at times. This was a tough shoot, obviously. Taking on Shakespeare and bringing it to film is always going to be a challenge. Weather conditions were brutal. It was literally horizontal rain, cold locations in Scotland, and reuniting with Prince, the horse that had an erection on Jane Eyre. I don't think I gave him an erection this time, though. Black bag, sphincter muscle. Assassin's Creed didn't turn out the way I would have hoped it to do. I think it's such a interesting universe. The idea of DNA memory, I really believe in that, and the idea of free will as a concept, but I had a lot of fun doing it. It reminds me of being on the rooftops in Malta, very hot conditions, sweating a lot, but we had a lot of fun. Band of Brothers, big break for me. I left drama school about a year when I got this part. I was working in a warehouse unloading lorries. It sounds suspect, but it was all legit. And I got an audition for Band of Brothers in Pearl Harbor in the same week, and I managed to get a gig on Band of Brothers.
Wouldn't drink too much if I were you.
Hey, be careful if he offers you a cigarette.
What are they talking about? If who offers us a cigarette?
Spears.
Who?
Lieutenant Spears.
Opportunity to meet Steven Spielberg, be directed by Tom Hanks. It was a big deal. Hunger. Probably my favorite film that I've done. This was a huge, like, turning point or start of my career, really. The opportunity to play Bobby Sands, meet Steve, go on that journey with him and Liam Cunningham, living together in a little flat. Well, it wasn't little, it was 2-bedroom, it was a normal size, but just working on that scene every day, eating porridge in the morning and then running the scene between Bobby and the priest. We tried to do it 10 times a day for 10 days. Shame. Shame. That's what I feel. No, it was this very special film, special director, Steve McQueen, our second collaboration, reminds me of a dark experience and a lot of nudity. Fish tank. Chaos. I remember it was a very unique experience working on this film. Andrea Arnold is an amazing filmmaker, and working with non-actors in live situations, I think it's a great film.
Yeah, you're 15 years old.
What does it matter if you like someone?
12 Years a Slave, third collaboration with the great Steve McQueen. It brings back memories of New Orleans, barbecue, and really hot weather.
Hey, Bass.
Oh, no, no, no.
No shame in taking respite from the heat. Drink, shade. It's ungodly for travelers.
I had my favorite barbecue ever in a place called The Joint, I believe it was, and it was walking distance from where I was staying down by the Bywater. I think, you know, with Steve, even if the material is quite intense, and very often it was with all of the films actually, with Hunger, Shame and 12 Years a Slave, there's always a nice, fun atmosphere on set actually in between the takes, which always helps sort of puncture that intense tension that's created on camera. Inglorious Basterds. What do I remember from this? A large purple dildo. Quentin, I don't think, likes people to take naps on set. So anybody that was taking a nap would get photographed. There was the wall of shame. So everybody was on that wall of shame with, I think the dildo's name was Jerry. Okay, cool. Song to song. The great Terrence Malick. I remember drinking moonshine with Terrence Malick and him calling it gasoline. And White Lightning, that was another name he had for it. The Agency. What comes to mind? Cold baths, early starts in the morning, work in a scene with Richard Gere talking about Terrence Malick. There's a link. I love Days of Heaven. It's one of the great films for me, and Richard Gere's performance is fantastic. Yeah, pinching myself in a scene with Richard Gere. Eden Lake. Early film, director James Watkins, working with Kelly Riley, who I actually did my first professional job out of drama school. I was part of Chekhov's Three Sisters. Kelly played Irina, and I played a small character called Fedotic. This was a great experience, a lot of blood, a lot of gore, and getting to work with Jack O'Connell, Tommy Turgoose, great young cast. Kneecap, love these guys. I hadn't heard of Kneecap until this came to me. I mean, it was my agent, Connor, who'd said, like, the script arrived, a sort of like semi-biographical story about these guys, Kneecap, who are a band, Irish band that rap Os Gaeilge, which is in the Irish language. And there was an offer for me to play the father of one of these guys. And so I quickly Googled Kneecap and took a look at their music videos, and I immediately jumped on board. They are funny, intelligent, and it was a great experience working with these guys. They're born superstars.